Awakening with Brahma Kumaris.
Namaskar. Welcome to Awakening with Brahma Kumaris. Welcome, sister.
Om Shanti.
Welcome to Going Beyond.
Thank you so much.
There's something very funny I read today. And I call it funny because it's so close to me. It looks as if somebody's written something after meeting me.
Really?
Yeah. Says, most of the time, the conflict is perceived in the mind. This is okay. How many times have you expected your secretary to pick up the folders from your desk and file them away? And then at other times, you want her not to touch them, since you have neatly sorted them and will want to look at them the next day. You expect her to be your mind reader, and when she doesn't do as you mentally expect her to do, there is a conflict. These kinds of situations create a lot of unnecessary thoughts, which result in ill feelings and negative attitudes. Next, very important. We fall into the language of always and never. Always and never. We are so frustrated that the people around us have not learnt the art of mind reading, that we accuse them of always disrupting our work or never doing anything around here. I laugh at it because I do the same thing at home. I tell my staff something someday, something someday.
Yeah, but it is so easy to sit and laugh at it now. And because right now we're not in the situation.
Yeah.
And which means that actually, if we look at it in a detached perspective, it just appears funny. And not only funny, it appears unreasonable, that the person is behaving in a very unreasonable manner. And yet, when we are in the situation, nothing can be more real and nothing can be more logical. I'm sure now that you're reading it, it appears, how can anybody be doing this? But when you are in it, you feel that you're absolutely right. There cannot be anything more right. What is wrong in expecting one day for things to happen in this particular manner, and the next day things to happen in another manner? What's wrong in expecting this? And so while we're
you
doing
don't even
it,
think about what is wrong or right. You just do that because, why did you do this? He said, because you did. But I didn't say that do it when guests are here.
right, absolutely.
I
No,
didn't tell you to do it at 9 o'clock.
Otherwise also, if let's say something as simple as, I will have my dinner at 7 o'clock, so the people around should be prepared, and then when you are in that mood, you will tell them, 7 o'clock daily I should get my dinner here. And so they will program themselves, and they are accurate and disciplined. And then 2-3 days later, they will still bring the dinner accurately. See, if you see the other person's perspective, they're being very disciplined, sincere, and hardworking. And then they get the dinner exactly at 7 o'clock. And that day, you don't feel like eating at 7 o'clock. And so how would you react with them?
Then I tell them, why didn't you ask me before placing the dinner?
Yeah, but
Can't
do
at least
you
ask
tell
me?
them? Do you tell them the way you're saying it right now?
No, I get angry. I say, who told you to give me dinner?
Right.
At least ask me. And I'm sitting, I'm not far away.
Yes.
I'm just sitting in front of you.
Right.
Just ask me, are you hungry or something? And if they ask me, are you hungry? Didn't I tell you yesterday?
Right.
Didn't I tell you once? Do I have to tell you 10 times?
Right.
That give me dinner at 7?
Right.
You don't have to ask me the same question every day. And the day they don't ask me. Why can't you even ask me? I'm not hungry.
Either ways, we are not going to spare them, are we? And so if we see from the perspective of the other person, in this case the secretary or the staff, it could be anybody, it could be husband, wife. What do you think the other person goes through?
Yeah, I try to take care of them later on.
Later on, it's like breaking something and then trying to get it back together later on. And then most important is that thing breaks too often. It's not that it breaks just once in a while.
So they get gifts too often, no?
I was just reading the other day somewhere that psychologists say that on an average, approximately, that's what their research says, 17 positive statements are required to override the damage created by one negative statement.
Oh,
And when I read that, and
17.
yeah, so they
Positive.
said the ratio is 17:1. And the article was about appreciation, and it says, do you appreciate people, especially children or like staff, 17 times more than what you criticize them? I thought it was 17:1 in the other way. It would be more of 17 times criticism and once in a while appreciation. So
Yeah.
look at what we're doing to people. And we see that the whole day. You know, when
Why
I read
people?
even with ourselves,
I criticize myself too.
and appreciate myself
No,
very,
never.
very rarely.
17. It's okay. You're learning.
So the appreciation is not even very liberal. You know, appreciate liberally, motivate yourself. No, criticism is very liberal. It comes fast and flowing words or thoughts. And appreciation, very selected, 2-3 words. Good job. And then with that, you can do it better next time.
Because of the belief that just I am criticizing you for your good.
Yeah, but
It's so
then,
clear.
yeah, but then let's see what people around us who are researching the human mind, what are they telling us? And actually one is research and the other is experience. You know, even if you see parents or friends who are very critical in nature, it doesn't mean they don't love us. They really love us, and there have been times that they've been very, very, very nice to us. Very nice, and whatever we are today, it is because of all their love, care and support. And yet, we don't seem to forget the harsh words.
Never.
We may have forgotten the beautiful words, but we don't forget the harsh words.
But remembering, sister, while talking to you, I remember not the 17 times given appreciation by my parents, but that one
Yeah,
criticism.
one criticism.
That I remember very well,
So
clearly.
even now it just shows that one, we are not moving in a 17:1 ratio. Definitely. We don't normally, most of us, are not appreciating people 17 times more than we criticize them. No. We do get criticism more often. And criticism just means a negative energy in the form of anger, irritation, something like this. Even if the appreciation is 17 times and criticism is once, even then we tend to remember that criticism and we say, they said this to me. Now, we really need to sit back and see that we don't need any research to tell us this now. It's our own experience that criticism is here more. And the only reason is criticism was taken by us to wound ourselves. It's like you give me 17 gifts and then you hit me once really hard here. Huh? And when you hit me really hard, there was a wound. It pained. It really, really pained. 17 gifts, or maybe 100 gifts, and one big wound here, and it pained. Which one will I remember?
The pain.
The pain. And which means how careful we will need to be in our interactions with people. And also because when we are hitting someone and it's causing pain to them, what about the pain it's causing to ourselves?
How can that pain be created in myself when I don't even know that I'm creating a pain?
When we're using harsh words,
A lot of people don't know. They are so sure that they are doing this, disciplining the child. I'm doing it only for his good. He may be feeling bad now. Tomorrow, when I die, he will remember and say, yes, my father did so good for me. So when a person is so sure about something, the pain cannot be with me, no?
the pain cannot be with me, but I'm using harsh words.
But look, again, my belief.
Belief is fine.
So if there is my belief is
Let's
that
say,
I'm doing it for your good,
no, let's say
how
I
will
take
I
a
get
knife. I take a knife. My belief is that knife is good for cutting. But finally, when I use the knife, and when I understand, now earlier I was not aware, but now I understand
Yes.
that the weapon, the sharp edge of that knife is first going to be in my hand. And so even if a knife is good, is needed for cutting, is my belief system, the first person I cut is me myself.
Yeah, maybe
So
subconsciously.
my belief says that the knife is needed. These people just won't learn without a knife. I need to use this kind of energy. So belief says knife is a necessity, which is one part. But the reality is that the knife will first cut me before cutting them.
Yeah, I know someone who deals with a lot of truck drivers and who cheat them and they run away with things and all that, and they use the kind of business they do and the way they talk to them or behave with them is so painful to see, but they are so sure. They said you can't help it. They do not listen otherwise.
They do not
But
listen.
I also see one thing more,
Yes.
that the person gets so tired by the evening, so gets so irritated by the evening, that he brings the same language home.
Not only the language,
Yeah.
the
So
vibration,
what
the
I was asking
energy.
you, I have answered myself.
And this you will find in a lot of places. Teachers trying to control children create a lot of stress, carry their stress home. You shout at children, it's going to hit here first. So when we say this weapon is needed for my profession or for my children or whatever, we will need to remember the damage that it does to the other people, more than that the damage is to me. And the reason is, like you said, this person who deals with truck drivers. Now, on an average, how many drivers in a day?
Maybe 2 to 300.
2 to 300. Chalo. So now let's look at the proportion. One owner and 2 to 300 truck drivers. Even if he has to shout at 10% of them in the whole day,
30.
because all of them are going to behave in different ways, and it's their vocabulary, they talk like that, and it's this businessman's belief system that unless you are ruthless with them or you shout at them, things are not going to happen. So even if he has to shout 20 to 30 times in a day, they get it only once. This person creates it 30 times, and which means he gets the energy 30 times while creating it and then transmits it. They get it once.
Yeah, but 30 times from his side. And what about from coming back?
That is, of course, another game altogether.
That
Yes.
we've learned from you now.
Absolutely. So now tell
What you give comes back to you.
what you give.
So 30 plus maybe 90 more.
Many more.
120 times.
Yeah, so how is that mind going to be by the end of the day?
Totally depleted. Tired.
So we need to stop and check all our belief systems which we are saying, no, it's necessary. It's necessary. Criticism is necessary. Harsh language is necessary.
Maybe it's just for your convenience we use this line. Actually, everybody knows within that, I've hurt my child or I've spoken a little louder. I shouldn't have done that.
Actually, our behavior is only reflecting first our own state of mind, not the behavior of the team or the children. Same team, same children bring another set of parents or bring another leader. Same team. Let's say there is a team of 10 people. I normally see with patient doctors, it's very interesting. Some doctors will say, this patient is very irritating because the patient tends to ask too many questions, is just not understanding, the relatives are also panicky, all those things. So the doctor who's very stressed and is very frustrated inside will say, this patient is irritating. Okay, now let's say we label the patient, this patient is irritating because this patient has just created tremendous amount of irritation in a doctor. Now that means take the patient and take them to 10 doctors now. And so the same patient should create a amount of irritation in all the doctors, and that just doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. They're going to have some doctors who are going to be very, very calm, very loveful, very empathetic, and then say, is there anything more you want to ask? Same patient. But yet this doctor who was getting irritated is going to say, it's this patient. It's because of him I am becoming like this. I have to talk to him. He will not understand. Same class of students, different teachers will handle the same class of students differently. And then some teacher will say, they just won't keep quiet if you don't shout at them. Of course you have to shout at them for them to be disciplined. And another teacher is going to come in and smile and play and just make the whole class so beautiful. And similarly, same children, of course here we don't get to experiment, but take the same children with different set of parents and it's going to happen a different way. Take the same team at work with different leaders, it's going to happen a different way. And then how can we say this is needed to discipline them? Yes, we can say this is the only way I know of disciplining them. Or I can say I don't have enough patience to keep talking 5 times lovefully and then wait for them to listen. So it's my incapacity to be patient.
It can be also that my parents did that to me, and my grandfather did that to my father.
Yes, it
and
can.
his great grandfather did to him.
Yes.
So it is just coming, the whole thing coming.
Yes, it can. That it was in my past. This is how my parents behaved with me, and so this is how my mind conditioned to getting worked.
Parents,
Grandparents.
brothers, parents, friends, my friends' parents, everybody was used to just, hey, don't do it. They never used to give a reason why you should not do it. I told you not to do it. Okay, that's it.
And now I need to stop and ask myself, do I want to live my life like this or do I want to change? Simple. It's only that much. Reasons, yes, reasons could have been a lot of reasons in the past. It is a lot of conditioning, sanskars, some sanskars because of the environment in our own house. We may see other parents talking very, very nicely or sweetly and very patiently. Basically, it's patience that's required here. So we may see our friends, our relatives, and their parents are very patient. But just watching doesn't condition. It is the energy that I receive from the people around me. How does conditioning take place? That is, how does sanskars take place? Is the energy that I consume from the people around me. You can watch somebody else's parents talk very patiently. It's only an observation. You don't even need to observe somebody in the neighborhood. Just switch on the television and you can observe different kinds of things. But to make it your sanskar, it only happens when I'm getting it in a close relationship. Because then I'm not just watching.
Sister, I have a son and a daughter. They can choose the way my wife speaks, but they still feel, okay, we'll copy dad. Then?
So that's a choice that they will make because of the
but
energy.
Here both are different.
Both will have an influence on the child. Only one parent will not have an influence on the child. Both the parents will have an influence on the child's conditioning. Definitely. Because the child is consuming the energy of both the parents. And then tomorrow the child is consuming the energy of teachers, of friends, tomorrow of husband, of wife. Now let's say this person you said who is with the truck drivers for most of the part of the day. Maybe before he got into this profession, he was very calm, relaxed, very happy-go-lucky. This was not his vocabulary. And this was not his way of living. This was not his way of working with people. Conditioning. Because he was dealing with them constantly and then he thought this is the way. So he started using that energy and that vocabulary. A few years down the line, or sometimes even lesser than that, he becomes like that because he has consumed that energy and he's created a lot of stress and anxiety while working with him. Now this person goes home. Now his home, his wife, his children, before they were living with him, and now after his change also they are living with him. Before he was very calm, very relaxed, very loveful to everybody. That had an impact on them. Now when he has changed, because he's consumed another type of energy, when he comes home, he will radiate that energy to them in his every thought, word and action. And very soon if they don't protect themselves, they will be consuming that energy. So from the truck drivers to the boss, then from the boss home. Now when we see this, we normally see it in stories and behaviors. Oh, the boss shouted at the junior shouted at the wife. It's not just the shouting. It is a close interaction which we consume energy of the other person. So this boss is consuming this energy the whole day. He's creating and consuming both the things. And when he goes home, his wife, his children are going to be consuming that initially, and very soon they will be creating and consuming. Initially, the wife could be very peaceful, very calm, but the husband comes home stressed, shouted. She wouldn't know how to handle it if she doesn't protect herself. That's why protection, because we are dealing with a lot of kind of people. And if we don't shield ourselves, very soon we are going to be consuming a lot of energy. So now this wife of this businessman, if she doesn't protect herself, she will be consuming his energy initially. Initially, she's very peaceful. Stress is not her creation. But the husband is behaving in that manner, shouting, getting angry, irritated, snapping at her for small things, impatient. Change. Now she is consuming that energy. She's not taken care, so now she also starts getting stressed. And very soon she will be creating that energy also and consuming that energy. Now this lady goes to her children. Earlier she was with them very patient, very calm. Now she starts shouting at them for small things. And the children wouldn't know why the mother is behaving like this. She never was like this. And many of us look at people around us and say, why have they become like this? They were never like this. Why have they changed? And very soon the children wouldn't know how to deal with the mother. And they will create pain, fear. Why is my mother snapping at me like this? Maybe cry. Very soon they're consuming. And once they've started consuming, now they're creating and consuming. Cycle goes on.
A link to a link to a link to a link.
And which only means each one of us will have to develop a mechanism that we stop consuming other people's emotions.
How do you protect yourself from this?
See, when it's like an infection that we catch. You know, one is I'm healthy, but I catch your infection. And once I catch your infection, then my immunity system crashes. And now once my immunity system crashes, my vulnerability to fall ill increases. Suppose you have jaundice, and when I meet you, I catch the infection and I get jaundice. So first I consume that illness. But now once I have started living with that jaundice for a few days or probably 20 days, a month or so, my immunity system crashes. And now when my immunity system crashes, maybe 2 months down the line, I'll get typhoid. I didn't consume the typhoid from you.
But the immunity is gone down.
So it's first, maybe, sometimes we feel, I'm fine, I'm stable, I'm strong, I don't get angry. But then what happens to me when I'm with so-and-so person? I'm okay with these 10 people. What happens to me when I'm with this person? Why do I get irritated? So which is a sign that maybe I'm not creating it. Because if I was creating it, then I create it with everybody. Because then it's my sanskar. But when we find ourselves doing that in just very few situations, with very few people, then we need to take care that at that time we are also consuming that energy. Maybe the person opposite to us is with very heavy energy. And so we first consume and then create. So now we need to take care while we are with those few people. Very often I've met people who would say, I'm fine, I'm absolutely fine, but when I'm with this person, I don't know why I get this jealousy feeling. I don't get it with anybody else. There can also be a reason that that person is creating the energy of jealousy when they are with you, and because we're not aware, it reaches us and we see it in the form of thoughts. And we don't come to know whether these are our thoughts or his thoughts which are touching me. And so let's take care that when we meet people, we need to protect ourselves so that we don't absorb the energy that is coming from there. One is absorb, one is reflect, third is transform the energy.
How do I block it?
By preparing myself. See, how would I get what you sent me?
Because it comes from my side.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that, why am I thinking bad about this person?
Exactly. This
because
happens.
I don't even know whether it's coming from there.
Yes.
I have nothing against him. Why is this thought coming to me?
And this will happen to you sometimes that otherwise you won't think bad about him or ill about him. But when they come home or, you're sitting with them, you will suddenly start seeing those thoughts on the screen of your mind. And sometimes we would not like ourselves. That why am I thinking like this? I never think like this for anybody else. Take care. It's the arrow that is coming from the other side. But then I can't just sit back and say, okay, hit me. I'll have to close the door. which means next time before meeting them, one is, we're not aware, so the arrow hits. Now we are aware, so the next time before meeting them itself, we will prepare ourselves for the meeting. And which means I will keep my set of positive arrows ready before I meet them. They are very pure, powerful souls. It's a genuinely beautiful soul. Even if you're talking anything else, sitting and having normal conversation, business, family, internally let these arrows be on the screen of the mind. So if these arrows are on the screen of mind when I'm with that person, then these are more powerful than what they're hitting me with. And if my arrows are more powerful, then this which travels to me is finished midway.
Positive is more powerful than negative?
If I create it with awareness, it's very powerful.
Sister, can't I do that while feeling it? Why wait till next time meeting him?
Of course, if you're aware that time, just change it immediately.
I've done that.
Just change your thought immediately. But sometimes it just gets into a very fast, vicious cycle. So at least be aware the next time. It's like, let's take this husband back again home. Now if the wife has seen this pattern happening over the last few days, now she needs to prepare herself. No more crying, no more getting upset, no more reacting to what this person is saying. I'm going to be prepared. In fact, I'm going to send the energy which will heal him also when he comes home. So when I send positive arrows, first I protect myself because I closed my door, so your negative doesn't reach me, but my positive reaches them.
But protecting myself, that closing the door means sending him good vibrations.
See,
that's
we
all.
cannot stop thinking, na? Nobody can stop thinking. Protection means you can't stop thinking. I'm sitting here with you and you're sending me a lot of negative energy. And sending me negative energy means you're thinking something negative about me. So you can't do anything, it's just coming. Those arrows are just traveling towards me. Either I move away, and even if I move away, if your arrows are very powerful, they're going to come to me even if I'm in America. So that's another story. But one, I get up and move away because I say, I just can't sit next to them. It's very heavy energy. So either I move away. But you can't move away from everybody. So I have to be here. How do I protect myself? I can't stop thinking. I can't stop your thoughts. They are coming. So the only thing that I have to do is I'll have to send something which will counter this midway and finish it off. An arrow from here.
Can I just ask you if I've understood it clearly? Can I just go on saying he's a pure soul? He's son of the same father. He's my brother.
Absolutely.
I can give him good blessings also.
This is blessings. Now, but the technique is that now outwardly you must be talking about something else. Your words cannot be you're a pure soul, you're a beautiful soul. You're talking to him about let's do this in business or let's do this tomorrow at work. So now we'll have to do this. That's saying all these words, talking business, but internally the subconscious mind is creating these thoughts. Now this energy goes there. At a time, only one thought. So if this is the thought, that thought will not hit. And most important, my arrows will now hit them. So their healing will also begin. So first my protection and then their healing, which we have seen. If I remain stable, then I'm taken care of. And once I'm taken care of, it will start influencing the opposite person.
Wonderful, sister. Thank you so much.
Shanti.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
If you wish to discuss your problem or have a question to ask or want to know your nearest Rajyoga Meditation Center, call us on 099 99 744 555.
Om Shanti Om. I'm a peaceful soul. Om Shanti Om. I'm a peaceful soul. Ye Dwani मंगल ध्वनि है ओम शांति ओम peaceful.